Wow, what an ending to Monday Night Raw. Of course, Edge versus Orton is a huge main event just by itself. But having the involvement again of Alexa Bliss in the main event segment of Raw, having her distract Randy Orton was clever. Then having her spitting out this black blood-like liquid was even more creepy, brilliant, and amazing than I thought it could ever be. But, of course, this is a video titled Things You Might Have Missed, because there may have been a few things you missed on Raw. We're also going to take a look back at Royal Rumble and talk about that a little bit as well. So let's get started. The first thing to talk about was Alexa's entrance this week on Raw. And of course, she had this new graphic that was displayed as she made her entrance. Of course, they do this quite a lot. It's obviously like a 3D thing that they put on the screen. You can clearly see it's got two sides of its face, one being yellow with the mouth stitched up, and the other being red and evil and angry. It looks really, really cool. We haven't seen this logo used by Alexa, like on her attire or anything. We've seen, obviously this is a logo she's used many times, but I don't mean this variant of it. So the fact WWE using it is interesting. It does add that speculation for a lot of people. Is Alexa Bliss going to be getting some kind of mask or something in the future? Is this a sign of that multiple personalities? We don't know for sure. I'm leaning more towards the multiple personality thing, but never say never. WrestleMania is only 68 days away. WWE advertised it at the Royal Rumble and tonight on Raw with their brand new WrestleMania commercial. Now, a lot of people are angry at this because it seemingly doesn't feature The Fiend or Alexa Bliss, two of the biggest names in WWE right now. Now, what the advert obviously does show is Randy Orton with the match and the fire and all that stuff. So you gotta think at WrestleMania, this is going to be a match. This is going to be some kind of match or a story that goes until Mania, because Orton's featured in it heavily with the fire. Now, what you may have missed is, so is The Fiend. Although you don't see him, the boat is on fire. Some weird tentacle comes out dragging it under the water, but the Fiend's laugh is present. So he is featured in the advert. The fact he's not shown is interesting. We have been talking about whether the Fiend will get a new mask. Maybe, and maybe that's why they're not showing it yet. But also, so is Alexa Bliss. She is in the commercial. Very hidden though, and I like that. It's as the cannonball shoots out of the cannon. You can see her there in the background. There's no one else. It doesn't flicker from superstar to superstar. It's solely Alexa Bliss. Almost like a ghost-like figure there in the background. And I like that because everything Firefly Funhouse and Bray Wyatt, the Puppet Watch, is hidden. It's a mystery. And again, you have to examine the commercial to see this stuff. Or just watch these kind of videos. It's fun, right? We saw Randy Orton come to the ring as Alexa was walking to the back, and he did not make eye contact with her. She did not take her eyes off of Randy Orton, but he completely blanked her. Now, last week we said when he RKO'd her that it was because she was the Fiend at the time, and he identified her to be the Fiend. Now she's not the Fiend. He doesn't care. And that made it really cool when we got the ending of the main event that we got, and Alexa Bliss appeared on the turnbuckle of the ring and started spewing this black blood-like substance from her mouth. Absolutely no idea what it is. It could just be like bile. I don't know. It could be blood. It could be anything. But interestingly, we have spoken on the channel in the past about the Fiend and the Fiend having this black-like liquid coming out of his mouth. Now, we have put it down rationally to the fact he has to wear makeup under the mask, and sometimes that might run. But it doesn't explain it all the time. You can see it in this picture coming out of his mouth, down the mask. If it was liquid makeup, it would be running down his chin to his neck, which we have seen before. But it also doesn't explain how the hell it came out of Alexa's mouth tonight. It is definitely something that binds the two together, and not only that, it's something that obviously represents something, we just don't know what yet. Maybe some kind of possession, which is what we believe the whole Alexa thing to be. Well, maybe time will tell. I did love the fact that it was what cost Randy Orton the match, caused that big distraction. It shows you this story is not finished yet. Just because they didn't do it at the Royal Rumble doesn't mean it's not going to happen. They're still doing it. John Cena has announced that he will not be at WrestleMania. He has said it's a mathematical impossibility for him to be there this year. But he said that before. And we have all sat there and thought Cena's not going to be at Mania, and Cena has been at Mania. So I'm kind of torn between this. We have expected him to do something if there was a Firefly Funhouse match and everything like that. So maybe that's why he's saying it, because he won't be there. But, you know, whatever Bray Wyatt's got of him in the Funhouse will be. Maybe. It's strange. But if you understand the story, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Alexa Bliss also had a match tonight on Raw. Literally the match before the main event. She was involved in a lot of Raw's final hour. Of course, we saw new moves on the match with Nikki Cross. She played hopscotch to get to Nikki Cross across the ring. She stood on Nikki Cross's back laughing while driving her head multiple times into the ring canvas. Really cool. And of course, we saw a new variant of the Sister Abigail by Alexa. Of course, she basically tucked her arm around the back of Nikki Cross's head, spinning her around for almost like a spinning DDT. But the interesting point for this match was what happened at the start and what Nikki Cross was saying. Nikki Cross was saying, "I was done with you. You can't leave me alone. Why can't you leave me alone?" She repeated it multiple times through the match, and Alexa just shook her head like, "Nope, I can't leave you alone." And I thought that was quite telling, because Alexa's always said that she wanted to be friends with Nikki. She wanted to play with Nikki. And a lot of speculation's been made about Nikki joining Alexa. And although I still don't see it happening exactly like that, we did see tonight Alexa try to set up for the mandible claw. She didn't hit it. She wasn't the Fiendess. We don't know what effect it would have as her being playground Alexa. But nonetheless, she set up for it in a very unique way. And it's interesting that, was she trying to change Nikki Cross? Is that why she can't leave Nikki Cross alone? Because she still wants her to be her friend. It's an interesting theory. Something that may have got missed just because you may have had the volume down. If you follow Nikki Cross on Twitter, you'd have seen, and we have covered a few on the channel before, about Nikki Cross posting these videos. And these videos are obviously posted inside the WWE Thunderdome, backstage, the ring. We saw it last night during the Reigns and Owens Universal Last Man Standing match. And of course, Nikki Cross basically says in these videos how fans of Alexa Bliss have bombarded her, basically saying that Alexa was a star, that she was nothing, and all this stuff. And it's basically about her trying to get redemption now she's on her own. And the fact that the story is still playing out of her and Alexa, and I think this story will continue sporadically when Alexa Bliss isn't involved in the Randy Orton story, it is interesting. It really is.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Now, I said we'd touch on the Royal Rumble, and of course entry number 27 in the women's match, Alexa Bliss, mainly because I spent a lot of time Saturday editing that Firefly Funhouse opening segment thing that you've just seen, and I needed to use it, so we're doing it. Of course, Alexa Bliss did debut new gear at the Royal Rumble. Of course, there was like a jigsaw patterning on the side of it. There was seemingly a logo in the middle, but in closer examination, it's just colours, which I think is really cool. It's obviously the colours of the Firefly Funhouse as well. But we all saw what happened. Alexa Bliss, mid-transformation, got through out of the ring. And basically it was Rhea Ripley that eliminated her, and she wasn't in the match very long. Now, I understand a lot of people were angry at the fact this happened. And I get it. I was as well. But in hindsight, and after a bit of sleep, not much, but a bit, And watching Monday Night Raw, it starts to make sense. Think about it. Alexa Bliss's character is this unstoppable transformation style character. If you have her in a Royal Rumble match, she has to lay in a corner in pain for 10 minutes while other people do their spots. That's not her character. Unless she's going to come to the ring, dominate, win, then there's absolutely no point her being in the Rumble. Yes, that probably is a WWE error in the first place to put her in it, but I think we would have been more mad if she wasn't in the Royal Rumble to begin with. I kind of feel like WWE again put themselves in a no-win scenario here, but nonetheless, maybe there is a future story between Alexa and Rhea Ripley that will come from the Royal Rumble. But after everything we saw on Raw, including the recap of everything that's recently happened between Alexa and Randy, WWE seemingly are still pushing this story of Alexa and Randy, with the Fiend's eventual return being a massive payoff in the story. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Alexa versus Randy at some point, maybe a cinematic match at the Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, leading to the Fiend versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It just makes sense at this point now we've gone past the Royal Rumble. I do expect to see the Fiend back before WrestleMania. When that is, I still have no idea, but while we're getting moments like this, and the story is still progressing, has not been forgotten, it's okay. And I'm happy with what WWE are doing. But I'd love to know what you think and what you think that liquid is coming out of Alexa's mouth. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, like the video. You have no idea how much it actually helps it. So please do that. And follow me on Twitter at CWrestlingUK. I'll see you next time. Peace!